Do you like hiking? A lot of people do, but not everyone.
I've been hiking. The first thing you notice when you go hiking is it's a mistake.
Now imagine tackling a hike that could take years to finish.
There's always that moment when you go hiking when you realize, oh no, now we have to walk back. There's no exit through the gift shop.
We're going to explore the longest hiking trail in the world and see if there's been anyone crazy enough to actually do it. This is the Great Trail. It winds its way across the entirety of Canada, the second largest country in the world, and this hike is over 28,000 kilometers long, or 17,000 miles. How many people have actually dared to hike the Great Trail? And how long does it take? And what exactly makes the Great Trail so special? Stick with us, because we're going to break it all down, one at a time. The Great Trail, formerly known as the Trans-Canada Trail, is the longest recreational trail network in the world. It's not just a single path, but a vast web of interconnected trails that span from the Atlantic to the Pacific and all the way to the Arctic Ocean. The Great Trail is unique because it doesn't just have one starting or ending point. Instead, it connects communities across Canada, forming a continuous network that crisscrosses the country. So, if you're to start from one end of the trail, you can begin your journey on the eastern shores of St. John's, Newfoundland on the Atlantic coast. From there, you could travel westward through picturesque provinces like Nova Scotia and Quebec before reaching Ontario's vast wilderness and urban hubs. Moving further west, you'd encounter the sweeping prairies of Manitoba and Saskatchewan before arriving at the majestic Rocky Mountains in Alberta and British Columbia. The trail doesn't stop there. It extends northward into the Arctic territories of Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. It's a literal coast-to-coast-to-coast adventure. One of the most incredible aspects of the Great Trail is its versatility. Over 24,000 kilometers of the trail can be walked or cycled, but what sets it apart is its inclusion of water routes. Canoeists, kayakers, and paddleboarders can explore the sections of the trail that wind through serene lakes and rivers. In winter, parts of the trail transform into snowy playgrounds for cross-country skiing and snowshoeing. And here's a fun fact. 80% of Canadians live within just 30 minutes of a section of the Great Trail. This means that no matter where you are in Canada, adventure is never far away. The trail also connects over 15,000 communities and countless natural wonders, making it a true symbol of Canadian unity and heritage. The Great Trail was officially launched in 1992 as part of Canada's 125th anniversary celebrations. What began as an ambitious project has since grown into an iconic representation of Canada's love for nature and exploration.
The Great Trail is all across Canada, though you might know it better as the Trans-Canada Trail, which was its original name. So it was a Canada 125 legacy project started in 1992.
With so many paths to explore, it's impossible to see everything in one trip. However, here are some unforgettable sections of the trail that are worth exploring. Starting on the Pacific side of the trail, British Columbia offers jaw-dropping scenery with its towering mountains and lush rainforests. One of the most popular stretches is the Cowichan Valley Trail on Vancouver Island. It's a breathtaking route, known for its lush old-growth forests, wooden trestle bridges, and peaceful riverside paths. If you love history, you'll appreciate the Kinsole Trestle, one of the highest and longest wooden railway trestles in the world. Further inland, you'll encounter the Kettle Valley Rail Trail, which takes you through tunnels carved into mountains and over bridges with panoramic views. It's no surprise that this section is a favorite among cyclists. As you move eastward into Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, the landscape transforms into vast open prairies. While some might think these flatlands are monotonous, they're anything but boring. The endless skies and golden fields have a charm of their own. One must-see section here is the Cypress Hills Interprovincial Park on the Alberta-Saskatchewan border. It's an oasis of rolling hills and forests amidst the prairie landscape.
I know there's just this feeling, the spirit of the hills and the backcountry and the cross-country ski trails. It's once you get up into the hills and there's hardly anybody. You don't see anybody for years.
Next is Ontario, which boasts some of the most diverse sections of the Great Trail. From paddling along Lake Superior's rugged coastline to cycling through Toronto's bustling waterfront trails, there's something for everyone. The Georgian Bay Coast Trail is a standout for its crystal clear waters and dramatic cliffs. This section is perfect for kayakers looking to explore Canada's iconic wilderness. Quebec's portion of the Great Trail is another section of the trail rich in history and culture. The Route Verte, for instance, is a network of cycling paths that take you through charming villages, vineyards, and historic landmarks. And last but not least is the Atlantic provinces. As you approach the Atlantic Ocean, the Great Trail weaves through New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland and Labrador. This region is famous for its rugged cliffs, scenic fishing villages, and warm, welcoming communities. One of the most beloved sections is the Confederation Trail on Prince Edward Island. Originally a railway, this scenic pathway is now one of the best cycling routes in Canada, thanks to its gentle terrain, ocean views, and peaceful farmlands. If you're looking for a relaxing yet picturesque ride, this is it. Newfoundland's trails, on the other hand, offer a wilder experience. Here, the path follows dramatic coastlines, where icebergs drift by and whales can often be spotted from shore. It's one of the most remote and awe-inspiring parts of the entire journey. Now, let's be real. Hiking the Great Trail from start to finish isn't for the faint of heart. So, how long does it actually take to complete? Well, that depends on a few things: your pace, weather conditions, and even the route you choose. If you were to hike non-stop, no sleep, no breaks, just walking 24 hours a day, it would still take around 233 days to finish. But let's be real, nobody hikes like that. Realistically, if you're stopping to rest, eat, and actually enjoy the breathtaking scenery, experts estimate that it would take about 2 to 3 years to complete the entire trail. And yes, a handful of incredibly determined people have actually done it. One of them is Sarah Jackson, who made history in 2019 as the first woman to complete the trail solo.
I've got to ask, what motivated you to do this? At what point did you say, this is something I'm going to do, and then you took action to make it happen?
Yeah, to be honest, I'd been interested in the idea of a distance trek for a while. My uncle walked the Camino when I was quite young, and that was something that stuck with me. The idea of walking the trail itself, the Great Trail, didn't come until I was looking for trails to walk. As soon as I found it, I knew I was interested in taking the time to do it. I didn't know I'd walk the whole thing until I reached Edmonton.
She did it in just under 2 years. Then there's Diane Whalen, who took a different approach. Instead of rushing through, she spent 6 years immersing herself in the experience.
In 2015, the 56-year-old filmmaker set out for her hardest expedition yet, traveling the entire Trans-Canada Trail alone.
You journeyed to 3 oceans, from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean to the Arctic Ocean.
Yeah, actually it went Atlantic, Arctic, and then Pacific.
Traveling not just on foot, but also by canoe and bike, she documented her entire journey in a film, describing it as 500 days in the wild. So what exactly makes the Great Trail stand out? Why do so many adventurers, hikers, and nature lovers consider it a bucket list experience? For starters, it's not just about hiking or cycling. It's about truly immersing yourself in Canada's breathtaking landscapes. The variety is what makes it so unique. Unlike most trails that follow a single type of terrain, the Great Trail takes you across rugged mountain, rolling prairies, deep valleys, and vibrant cities. Another thing that makes the Great Trail special is how accessible it is. Whether you're an experienced trekker looking for a challenge or a beginner just hoping for a peaceful weekend escape, there's a section for everyone. Many parts of the trail are even wheelchair accessible, making it one of the most inclusive adventure trails in the world. But don't just take our word for it. Adventurers who have explored the Great Trail say it's unlike anything else. A Reddit user mentioned, the sheer variety of landscapes makes every step an adventure. I've hiked trails all over the world, but nothing compares to the Great Trail. And that's the magic of the Great Trail. It's more than just a long path across Canada. It's a journey that connects people to nature, to history, and to each other. So, if you had the chance, would you ever explore the Great Trail? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, why stop here? Check out another of our videos. You never know what you might learn next.